Hey everyone, back with a new stove design. Redesigned the way I'm doing the orifice. Might be able to see that little nozzle in there. With this one I made the burner able to screw off of where I've done the orifice in there. And the purpose of that was that so I could experiment with installing different burner heads and stuff onto here. But the problem I've run into is because this pot stand is epoxied to the stove, and it really limits me to what I can fit within here. So with this one, what I've done is I've put the pot stand on top so it's not part of the valve assembly. So then it doesn't really matter now what I screw onto this valve assembly. So onto the end of this needle valve, I soldered a section of a 1/8 inch pipe compression fitting. So this is how I'm doing the orifice now. This is a small section of 1/8 inch stainless steel tube, which I've chucked it in the drill and used a file to grind that point on there. And once I've got that ground to a point, the inside sort of collapses in on itself. Into the end, I've compacted into there just some cold silver solder. And the silver solder I can pierce with a pin. So that's how I'm doing the orifice in this one. And what that allows me to do is have a lot of interchangeability. So to install the orifice, it just goes in here like that. This green piece is just a this green seal is a short section of silicone hose, which I'm using as an O-ring. It goes in there like that, and then just like the regular compression, you screw that on. And that's how I'm doing the orifice. So the orifice is easily changed. I've got one of these which I ground all the corners off of and pressed into here. So my stove has this part pressed into it, and that's how I attach it and also seal on the orifice. The real purpose of this video is not really to show you this, because this needs some more work. I'm still toying around with it. So does what I'm about to show you next. But I can change the orifice from this pointed jet to this other one. It's not pointed, and I don't think that has any significance. It's just how I'm telling them apart right now. I think in the future I'll color code the O-ring seal there, maybe make this one red or orange. I can install this orifice and this piece. And some of you might be thinking, what the heck is this crap on top? Well, a lantern. The lantern required a much smaller orifice. A large gas flow would tend to destroy that mantle, or that piece of mantle I have on there. It's hard to see on camera, but it produces quite a bit of light. Now that thing is still overexposing the camera, but I've got a lamp check ring which I'm planning on using on attaching some sort of glass globe. And I can use that lip it's got to attach some sort of wire hook type attachment method. I've got a little circular wire clamp that I just bent out of a paper clip to hold that little piece of mantle on there. It's fairly durable in this configuration. Once I protect it with a globe, I'm gonna since the mantle isn't out hanging in the air, you know, it's fairly durable, and I can shake it around. The mantles I got are the number 21 string tie Coleman's. It was like $3 for a pack of 4, and obviously I'm only using a small piece of it, so each full mantle gives me 6 or 7 pieces like this. It's fairly cheap to do then. This mantle material is fairly interesting. I had thought before that it worked on some type of catalytic conversion, but it doesn't. All you gotta do is get it hot. Here's a piece of the mantle that I was cutting from. It's sort of a dense woven net. The fibers are impregnated with different metal salts, from what I understand. And the first time you use it, it burns up. In fact, the first time I used one of these years ago, I thought I ruined it the first time I used it. Once the thread burns away, it leaves behind these metal salts that form a very fragile sort of matrix. And that's one of the things that helps it work, is it's real light and airy, and it allows these metal salts to get very hot. When they get hot enough, they incandesce. Apparently in the past, thorium, some sort of thorium salt was used. It's mildly radioactive. From what I understand, they don't anymore. It's like magnesium based or something. Now, if all you got to do is get it hot, And then there's no reason why it shouldn't work with like a little alcohol lantern. Burning a wick burning alcohol flame, if it can get it that hot. After it's burned, it turns into this very light ashy material. Now if all you have to do is get it hot for it to incandesce, will an alcohol flame be hot enough? The methanol flame produces almost no usable light, whereas compared to the mantle, if I turn it up, and now I can see this stove normally has a little donut on there